Hey everybody, you're watching Stuff and Things with Dave and Paul. And we're doing another Rogue One video. We're in the stairwell at work on break. And hopefully nobody comes again, like when we were doing this in the break room. Okay, so Paul, you had a question earlier when we were talking before this about the Death Star.
I had a question about the Death Star. Am I the only one that noticed that in the original episode 4, A New Hope, that when they fired the Death Star, Alderaan instantly exploded, was vaporized, but then in both of the shots in Rogue One, it took quite a bit of time for anything to happen. And did the planet actually explode? We don't even know. There was no...
Like what happened afterwards?
Yeah, what happened afterwards.
When they shot Jeddah City or whatever, the temple area. Okay,
people had plenty of time to run and jump in their ship and escape.
So my thought on that, you remember Director Krennic said that he could blow up the whole thing, and Moff Tarkin said, that's okay, we want to test or something like that, not a manifesto. I know for somebody that's seen the movie already like 4 or 5 times, I should probably know that line. But the point is, he said we don't need to do the whole thing. So they were just doing a single reactor. They did...
They did kind of make a big deal about saying this is a single reactor shot.
Now, when they were doing Alderaan, they said, we're going to test the full power of this space station. Let's go. Okay. All right. So, I think that has something to do with it. That they were testing the full thing on Alderaan, whereas they were just doing just a single burst or something on Scarif and on Jeddah.
I think so.
Okay. Hey, my bigger thing is it took them like 20 years to build the first Death Star. They blew up the first Death Star at Yavin 4, Star Wars: A New Hope.
Right.
That thing, I know it was fully made. It was a complete sphere, whereas the one in Jedi was an incomplete. But the one in Star Wars: A New Hope and in Rogue One, while it was complete, it took them like 20 years because they got the plans for it in the Clone Wars during Attack of the Clones. They started building it. They'd been building it, I guess, since probably about Order 66. So they were building it forever.
Makes sense. They were building it forever, and the final thing to go into place was...
And I know Galen Erso, the whole thing was he slow-played it to try to slow it down and everything and put in the
I think they tried to answer that question in Rogue One by showing how he had deliberately slowed the process and built in this engineering error.
But still, the thing is so big it can be mistaken as a moon. It took them that long to make the first one. The difference between, or the distance between when they blew up the first one and blew up the second one, it's only like 2 or 3 years.
And wasn't the second one even bigger?
The second one was bigger, and...
While it wasn't complete, it still only took 2 years to make that much progress on it.
Yeah. Why? Okay, now on this one, I know that Galen Erso built in that small area, the size of a womp rat or whatever. That
2 meters.
Yeah, something like that. Why have that gigantic one that you can fly the Millennium Falcon through?
All the way directly to the reactor core.
So that Lando and Nien Nub and Wedge and whoever else flies in there.
All those guys can just fly straight in there.
And TIE fighters are following them in there so they can shoot this giant thing or whatever. Why do that? Why make it have weaknesses again?
Now that's a great question. My only answer to that would be it was incomplete. They hadn't closed up any gaps. I mean, it was a huge open space structure that they had put in the firing mechanism first, it seems like, and built the rest of it around that. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it wasn't finished.
It wasn't finished. The original Death Star was finished.
Okay. So, to recap, it took them a shorter amount of time because, what? More labor, more experience. They knew what they were doing. No, they didn't have clones when they were making the second one. Anyways, it wasn't done, but it was working. It took them less time. I think when we were talking about the single reactor versus the full power, that probably answers your question about the Death Star, about that. Okay.
Because Tarkin said they were going to demonstrate the full power.
And then you get into Death Star 3, the Star Killer base.
Oh, right.
We're just doing the same thing, but bigger.
Planet-sized.
So, I don't know. All right, well, I guess, they can't have it be impervious, then we can't have movies.
All right, I have a couple more questions, but let's address those in the next video.
All right, hey guys, Paul's got more questions, but you've probably got some too. If you've got something you want us to discuss and put some thought into, come back to you about this, about Star Wars, let us know. Leave some comments below, and if you could, also hit the like button. Also, if you want to hear some more of our ramblings, or even if you're just feeling nice about it, hit that subscribe button. All right, thanks.